I know what it's like to lose, to feel so desperately that you are right, yet to fail nonetheless. Dread it, run from it, destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am. Welcome to the Black Order. I am your host, Kuyo, with your co-host,
Foster, y'all.
And Astro.
All right, today's episode 1, we're going to be going over the banned and restricted list as well as X-Men. X-Men. The wait is finally over.
I'm actually super stoked for X-Men, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same here.
So far, we've only seen the cards for Wolverine, Sabretooth, Magneto, and the powerful, the Toad.
I hate Toad so much.
Who?
So we'll go over our initial thoughts on them, and hopefully you enjoy the podcast. Our first segment is going to be the work in progress. We're going to talk about our purchases and what we're painting. Foster, what you got in the docket?
So I actually just finished up with Bullseye. Tried something a little bit new with him, and I think it worked out fairly well. I just need to go out and get some new brushes to go ahead and clean up his eyes because I'm the worst with eyes.
And
But I got... go on.
And you also bought $5 Walmart brushes. So,
I did buy 5... It was Target, yeah. I did buy the $5 Target brushes. For hobby, don't ever do that. Don't do that to yourself. It was a little experiment, and it's an experiment that failed. But I got Daredevil on the docket as well, but I'm waiting on him. A guy in our gaming group is going to be printing me up something very nice. I'm telling you right now that I'm stealing this idea from Facebook in the Marvel Crisis Protocol group. Some guy went ahead and was asking about, should I put these angels on with Daredevil? And I looked at it and I said, man, that looks so good. I'm going to buy it and do it. And so, sure enough, I've got somebody printing me out the exact same angel that guy is using, and I'm going to take it for myself because it just looks way too good not to put on the table.
Well, as we all know, Facebook is always right because Marvel Crisis Protocol is indeed a flat Earth world.
Yeah, I also heard that if you play Marvel Crisis Protocol, that the 5G network is going to give you all sorts of mutations and whatnot.
I think Astro is on 5G right now, so...
No. Well, God help your soul, my friend.
So does that mean we're going to be like an X-Men someday?
I hope so.
I don't know. Have you seen some of those dudes? I mean, you could be Toad.
Oh, snap.
All right, Astro, what were the models you picked up recently?
So recently, unlike you guys, I'm not much of a painter. So I'm in it mostly for the gameplay, and I'm looking forward to using Kingpin and Green Goblin. So pick those guys up and putting together a criminal syndicate affiliation. Something to take down the Black Order. I can't beat those guys yet.
Well, speaking of Kingpin, I am painting a Kingpin right now. How ironic.
Are you going to be using it or somebody else?
Wink, wink. I'll add in the sponsorship later. This is a commercial. I'll insert a commercial right here. I'm also painting a Green Goblin, and I pretty much have the last 3 releases to paint. So that's all of the Web Warriors, Daredevil, Bullseye, Punisher, the Ghost Rider. Yeah, I have a lot of problems, and apparently I have a plastic crack addiction.
See, I actually just got done with my Punisher. I've got one more thing I gotta do. I gotta put blood splatter all over them. I've decided that if my heroes or villains are true killers, that they're going to get some blood spatter on them.
And along with all of this painting, I also have a metric butt ton of terrain that's coming in. I'll be having some 3D printed because I have an event that's going to be at the end of next month. So I bought some terrain. I'm having some printed. It's going to be a lot.
Nice.
Luckily, though, for the most part, terrain goes fairly fast.
Not how I'm trying to paint it. It needs to look beautiful.
Well, If you're lazy like me, you just go ahead and you hit it with a primer of black, and then you dry brush it, and you say that's good enough for government work.
Well, you can ask Astro because I didn't deliver 3 of his models because I thought to myself they don't look good enough. They're not up to my standard.
Yeah, Kuyo definitely has high standards, and he's a pretty good painter. So
See, this is why you're the painter. That's why you're the painter, and I just play this game with models that I can become envious of other people about.
Well, we're going to end this segment and go on to the next one. Games played. Foster, let's talk about what the Guardians did to you.
I don't have the doll to show you where they touched me yet, but it was pretty bad. I was playing Wakanda, and we were doing Wakanda Wave from over Xavier Protocols, and let's just say that Black Panther didn't make any saves on that first round and got dazed on round 1 because the Guardians.
Tag team?
Yeah, no, it just dogpiled. I mean, my opponent was a real good guy, really smart. He played really well. I just flubbed my rolls really bad early on. I made some real rookie mistakes. The team that I took for a 15-point civilians and gamma shelters was Black Panther, Valkyrie, Miles Morales, Shuri, and Okoye. And I was fighting off against, who was it? It was Star-Lord, Ronan, which is actually my first time ever fighting against Ronan. I hate him so much.
Ronan said, "You gonna learn today."
Yeah, he judged me hard. From there, we had Nebula. We had, what is that boy's name again? Old Sorty Boy, Baron Zemo. And we had Rocket. I want to say that was it. But, yeah, just he came in. I'll be honest with you. What I learned from this match was that I don't think, because I was playing a weird combination of Wakanda Wave with Web Warriors as my team, and I don't think that those two should go together because they're trying to kind of achieve the same thing with board control, and I really needed some harder sluggers on there. Mm-hmm. I also early on forgot to do my because my first time playing with Wakandans, I forgot to do Wakanda Forever.
Oh,
that. Yeah, it was a major misstep on my part, and I paid for it because if I could have gotten in an additional push, if I could have gotten in an additional stab, I think it would have been a lot different. But because I forgot to do Wakanda Forever, here's the other mistake that I made. I had the option of 15 or 17 points, and I went with 15. And I feel like if I had gone with 17 and put Killmonger into my list, that actually would have flipped the table just a little bit more.
Well, the secret to winning is always putting Killmonger in your list. So
yeah, I'm learning that. I feel like Killmonger, especially for a Wakandan list, is one of those cards that, because Shuri's not hitting super hard, so you want to make sure that you have somebody that can actually stab people to death. And I feel like that was one of the things I was lacking, especially because Panther got KO'd early, not KO'd, but dazed early. If I had a secondary follow-up stabby stab man, I feel like that would have been a lot better. But that's the last game that I was able to play. So,
okay, Astro, would you like to talk about our game of Ultimate Encounter?
Sure do. So I tried to introduce the game to a friend, and so Kuyo and I basically thought that maybe the Thanos Encounter would be a great way to introduce the game basics, and so we decided to play the easiest setting, narrative play, and so my friend and I put together an Avengers team, and I put together a Criminal Syndicate team, and even though we had limited time, in the first round, Thanos was able to daze no less than 4 characters on the table. So I have no way, I don't understand how people can beat the Thanos Ultimate Encounter, even at the easiest setting. Maybe because I'm a newbie. I don't know all that I need to do, but man, Thanos is just so powerful. Even outside of the regular game, as alluded to, Black Order has been my bane of existence so far in all the games I've played, and even in this fun co-op kind of game, it's amazing how powerful Thanos can be. So,
So, would you say that he is inevitable?
for lack of a better word, yeah.
Well, yeah, here at the Black Order, we're in awe of Thanos' power, and I have to say, in that Ultimate Encounter, I'm not sure how you're supposed to beat him. Uh,
Yeah, definitely. With all the gems and the ability to shuffle each round with a new one,
yeah,
it's amazing. And the fact that you can't even hurt Thanos until you interact with all of the antimatter core modules and the mechanics that forces you to basically have to dance around him and dodge all of his attacks until you're ready to hit him with the nullifying laser. Is that what it's called?
yeah, the nullifying laser. Well, one thing I think, well, we didn't do wrong, but it's just something to keep in mind. I think you can shoot the laser with just one core in there, because you only need one on Thanos to be able to start hurting him. But still, he hits so hard. You have to immediately get a core and immediately fire it at him. Turn one. Otherwise, the first turn he's just gonna wreck people.
Yeah, that was the initial strategy. Was I was going to send Killmonger and Kingpin to kind of keep Thanos in check while the rest of the Avengers and other players on the table play around with the cores and move around him. But you took out Killmonger on your first move in charge, so that's a powerful mechanic right there. Just
Yeah,
being able to do two things in one activation.
yeah. Charge is probably the one of the best special abilities in the game. Yeah, superpowers. There we go. Superpowers in the game. And with me having 15 power from the power gem and being able to just willy nilly do pretty much whatever I wanted, I was guaranteed to take out one person with that charge attack, and then my it combined with my normal attack, and then being able to just throw units around. It was pretty silly.
Yeah, so that's probably not a good way to introduce a player. Dishearten them into even trying to play the game. But I think they still liked it. So it's overall Marvel Crisis Protocol is very approachable to table people new to wargaming and tabletop wargaming. So uh, I definitely would recommend it to a lot of new people just to pick it up. People that know comics growing up as a kid and read the books and can really follow the narrative
Yeah,
just
you
from
can
the
feel
get-go.
you can feel like you're playing the comics. Like the characters actually feel like they do in the TV shows, the comics, the movies. Like I felt like a god with Thanos with all of the Infinity Stones.
Very true.
Well, and then on top of that, the game itself is just very, very balanced, in my opinion. I mean, you're going to always have the best of something, but I feel like when you look at a tournament scene and how things are going with that, the very fact that you have a fairly broad spectrum of things being used and being successful, it just really kind of is a testament to how good this game is and how balanced it is.
Yeah, I would like to try the Ultimate Encounter again, but I'm thinking maybe we up the threat level that the crisis teams have. So instead of 18, let's see them at maybe 23, maybe 22, 23, something like that. Because even at the lowest setting, Thanos is a lot to handle.
I think, but that would kind of still limit the number of characters you can activate per round. So since each person can really only go, or each side, three on the crisis team, then three for Thanos activations. That is, um, maybe you might have to tweak that as well. Maybe do a 4 to 3 activations kind of ratio if you're gonna increase the threat level to 20 plus.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it's going to take longer to get to those characters to even do something. Maybe I don't know.
and we'll see. We'll have to play with it a little bit. I mean, the encounter was against a god, so I mean, I was godlike.
Yes, and just the fact that the encounters are very good for multiplayer, not just two people. So it's good to get people in a group setting, and it's a lot of fun to not just person A versus person B, to have a third person in there and gang up on a really powerful character.
Yeah. And then we can still play Ultron or Hulk.
Oh yeah.
And see how those go.
Well, we got the upcoming Magneto as well.
Yeah, there we go.
So they're planning a Ultimate Encounter with him as well?
I think so. Which I'm kind of stoked about because, to be honest with you, what got me into Marvel was Spider-Man, but what kept me in Marvel for a long time was X-Men. So the very fact that we've got Magneto coming in and having a possible Ultimate Encounter with him just makes my inner fanboy squeal.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll go over to our me and Astro's other game we played. We played a normal game of Marvel Crisis Protocol. If you can't tell, Black Order is my favorite affiliation to play, and that's pretty much the only thing I play right now.
I was going to say, favorite is the only affiliation you play.
Well, it's my favorite because it's the only, and my least favorite, and my mediocre favorite. I always draw the extraction cards. So I believe in that game. I had Panic Grip City as evacuation efforts continue. It's the 19 threat level game. And Asher, do you remember what Secure you were playing?
Actually, don't recall. Oh, I do. It was one of the ones that required saving civilians. It was which one was it? There was four civilians on the table. You had to basically pick up and save and bring back.
Oh, that was the one I had. You were playing Secure, so I think you had the consoles. Yeah, you had the consoles where you could heal one damage.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
I recall now. All I remember from that game is, again, losing by a lot. What was the final score? It was like 16-5.
Yeah. So this was a huge scoring match for me, which is not usually how it goes with my Black Order. So I want to say turn 1, I scored 5 points.
Yeah, and I think to my 1, and I think right after that, it basically exponentially, you kept holding all the points, so I couldn't score anything.
Yeah,
and towards the end of the game, I was starting to. I think maybe with another round or two, if I had kept the points lower, I could have caught up.
Yeah,
because I was starting to weaken Thanos.
Yes,
and,
you actually dazed Thanos and injured him. Turn 2, I believe.
Yep, and it took the double teaming of MODOK and Thor to take you down, while the rest of my Wakanda affiliation was trying to score points on the rest of the table.
Yeah. So for my roster, squad, I was playing Thanos, Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, and a Black Widow, all black everything. And Corvus Glaive had reality gem because that's what he always has. Thanos had the time gem, and I believe I gave him power as well in that game.
I think that's right.
So my Thanos was walking around as a 9 threat character, and he felt like a 9 threat character. Because of the banned restricted list, my team tactics cards were a little different than what I normally play, but I was able to pretty much do the same strategy I normally use with those guys. So Thanos moved up. I was able to teleport Corvus Glaive a little closer to the enemy. I moved him up again. I may have moved him 3 3 times. No, I think I moved them 2. But anyway, I used a mothership to teleport Corvus Glaive into advantageous position on top of a building, and he was able to daze. What character do you have up there? Okoye?
It was no, it
Shuri.
was Shuri. Shuri was the one you took out initially.
Yeah. So
I was getting too aggressive with her instead of pulling her back. She stayed towards the console to secure that victory point, but before I could even score that point, turn 1, you took her out.
Yeah. And then Black Widow does as Black Widow always does in my list. She picked up a civilian and she sat on a console for the entire game.
Say what it truly is. She hides.
She hides. Hey, she's a spy, okay?
She's a
Very
ninja
stealthy.
spy.
Very stealthy. And she was actually literally behind the building. So on the table. You couldn't see her from the rest of the characters.
You know, I've never got is how she's so stealthy with that flaming red hair. Come on now.
Okay.
See her from a mile away.
Well, not when you have Thanos going raw.
Well, apparently, he is the great distractor.
Yeah, so I actually had a hard time dealing with Thor and MODOK with just Thanos alone. Proxima Midnight tried to come in and do a little damage, but that combo of Thor and MODOK was pretty damaging because MODOK would AoE if I was too close to Thanos with Proxima Midnight, and then Thor would just do brutal damage to anyone he wanted to because he is the god of lightning.
I thought he was the god of hammers.
Oh, well. These are not my hammer.
No.
This is a family-friendly podcast, so I can't tell you what the hammer is. They were actually able to injure Thanos, just tag teaming him.
Yeah, I think you were almost close to getting dazed. You're like maybe 1 hit point away or 2.
No, you dazed him. He was on his injured side at the end of the game.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and I think I was down to 6 health when we called the game.
And I think Proxima was almost dazed too. I think you kept her back.
Yeah, I ended up having to retreat her. Yeah, I had to retreat her because she was getting hit real bad. I was able to score 5 points turn 1. Turn 2, I think I scored another 5 points.
Yeah, basically you kept 5 points every round.
Yeah.
And I could barely hold 2 or 3 points.
Yeah. I was a little surprised. I tried to do, well, not surprised. I should have gone all out on my combo versus Black Panther with Corvus. I didn't do all the team tactics cards that I should have because I was hoping to not have to put so much resources, but Black Panther can be surprisingly tanky.
Yeah, I think once I sent Koye over there to back him up, he was able to hold off Corvus.
Yeah, because I think I was throwing like 9 dice attacks at you or something like that and doing 1 damage. So it was something ridiculous.
I think I did get lucky on several rolls, defense rolls. So, I think if that game maybe could have kept going, I probably maybe could have caught in terms of points. But you got to the 16 points.
Yeah.
First, so.
Yeah, all because Widow, she was getting 2 points every turn, just unbothered.
Yeah, left alone. I almost sent Okoye over there, but Black Panther needed some support after you took down Shuri.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll have plenty of more games to talk about, but it looks like it's time for our main topic. The banned and restricted list. Atomic Mass Games, they've decided that to help foster the health of this game system, we should introduce a restricted list and a ban list for any of his competitive play and event play.
I think this is actually an excellent change, to be honest with you.
I wonder why.
Well, I mean, there are personal reasons, but I think that any game like this, where it's an ever-shifting landscape of things coming out, the natural progression is that you won't be able to see all of the combos that come out, just because, I mean, literally, we've got over 100 cards in the game now, it seems like. 100 team tactics cards from just my kind of look. And there's no way that you can see what all those interactions are going to be able to do with one another and with the characters in the game.
Okay.
And so you end up having things like Rocket Boots Thanos throwing a Corvus Glaive halfway across the map with drop off onto people. Kuyo.
Well, we'll just say we'll go over the overall thing real quick, and then we'll go into specifics because I know you really want to talk about drop off. The restricted cards right now are Brace for Impact, Doom Prophecy, Field Dressing, Med Pack, and Patch Up. And I believe you can only have. Did y'all hear my phone just a second ago?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. I'll say that over again. I thought I muted you. The restricted lists are Brace for Impact, Doom Prophecy, Field Dressing, Med Pack, and Patch Up. And I believe you can only have 3 of these cards in your list now, or is it 2?
Two.
Okay, so yeah, you're only allowed 2. And the one ban card is Drop Off.
Yeah.
And I'll say initially Drop Off was my favorite card. It was the card I was using when I was fighting against Foster with my combo of Thanos with the Time Gem and Corvus Glaive with the Reality Gem, Rocket Boots, and Drop Off.
Yeah. Getting Corvus Glaive into that front line on the very first turn is it's devastating. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Well, I was just going to say, I know it's not a combo that was often used in the super competitive scene, but in our tables, it was very oppressive. And I feel like the more people that come out in the game, the more opportunities you're going to have for literally dropping somebody off onto somebody in a big, big way. In fact, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit later with Magneto, but just looking at Magneto possibly dropping off Sabretooth onto somebody is, I know Magneto's not fast, but you can always give him something like extreme conditioning to move him fast, to drop a Sabretooth on somebody first turn, and I don't feel like a lot of people would be A-okay with that.
So the drop-off card itself, what it did was if you had a character with flight, after they made their move, you could drop off a character of the same base size or smaller within one of them after they made their move. And then that character would get a free 0 attack on someone. So anytime you can get free attacks in any game, it's a bonus. So that right off the bat was like, oh, I need to be playing this. I kind of thought, well, I guess I understand the mechanics of this game because from the restricted and banned list, I was playing with 4 of the cards already. So
yeah, I was pretty consistently playing with about 4 or 5 of the banned and restricted lists. So
I think I played 3.
Yeah, and this is without us like playing anyone outside of our store meta, no tabletop simulator or anything. This is just from wargaming knowledge of looking at the game and understanding what's good.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things that any time in a game where you only got 5 people that you can possibly remove an entire turn's worth of damage, you know that's a good set. And like I said, I'm glad that they overall went ahead and nerfed all this. And the reason why is just it's about longevity of the game.
Because I was the first time I played the combo versus Foster, I was able to daze 2 characters on turn 1 without taking any damage. I don't think I. Yeah, I think I just dazed 2 characters first turn.
Yeah.
Because with Thanos in the time gem, I was literally able to get anywhere. Like I could attack any character on the board turn one because of all the movement shenanigans I got from him being able to move and also being able to just pick up someone and move them.
Well, and I'm usually pretty easygoing, but that combo right there actually made me mad. It's one of the few times I feel like in wargaming where I've been like, well, that was cool. I'm actually legitimately mad about this. So, like I said, I'm not for combos that needed it. I'm not unhappy, but I think for the ultimate health of the game, it's necessary for there to be some form of banned or restricted list. And I'm glad that they didn't go with banning models, because we do have some models where it's like they find play all the time. Like I think Valkyrie in the latest tabletop simulator tournament list is like in 76% of the lists. Or
Wow.
crazy like that. In fact, I'm going to look it up real quick.
Well,
that's insane.
As the developers were saying, as they were making new models, because they mentioned making Cable, that him and Drop Off just kind of broke him. He was just way too good with Drop Off. So they decided to ban Drop Off instead of banning or restricting how good the potential of a new character could be, because they knew that Drop Off would be utilized on them.
Yeah. Well, and what I was saying earlier, I'm glad they didn't go with say, characters, because I'm looking at the stats right now for Season 3's top 16 for TTS, and Valkyrie is in 81% of the lists. 81. And MODOK is in 75%. And so just those two together, that you can literally fit into almost any list. It's not like Shuri and Okoye, who are both in 69% of the list, but then again, 44% of the lists are actually Wakanda, so that makes sense. These two are just fit in everywhere. They can't go wrong. And so on that end, like I said, I'm glad they're not doing this with characters, because I'd be really frustrated if I spent $40 on a box just to find out that one of the characters, he can't be used in tournaments.
Well, they'll show you. It wasn't like I spent $40 on one box just to get Drop Off, or did I?
Well, Rocket Boots, but you got what you deserve.
Sorry, Rocket Boots. Yeah,
you got what you deserve.
I literally bought Star Lord just for Rocket Boots, which allowed Thanos to have flight to do Drop Off. Yeah, only reason I bought them. So yeah, I'll be putting a Star Lord on eBay. Check out North of the Golden Throne on eBay.
Like I said, you deserve what you got there. How dare you abuse this combo?
But let's get into the restricted list. Any of these cards stand out to you that you enjoyed or think should be on this restricted list?
Doom.
Yeah, for me, as a newbie player, for sure. Like the field dressing, the med pack, and patch up were almost always on my list. Just so that I could keep my heroes alive through the entire game. And so maybe as a new player, that kind of forced me to, this restriction basically forced me to rethink my strategy. And so I'm actually excited about the restricted list too. So now I can use some other cool cards that I want to use.
Yeah. It forces you to be diverse.
Yeah. Well, and I really like playing cards that throw, so I can see why people, are bringing Brace for Impact, because it's a lot of damage that can be tossed around with just throwing people. But I played with Doom Prophecy a couple times, and I love that card so much. Put it on a Widow or now Punisher, and you're throwing out so many dice, people just get mad about it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people sleep on Doom Prophecy and don't understand why it's on this restricted list. But I would be surprised it's not banned pretty soon. Like, I think Doom Prophecy is like one of the best cards. Like, it's one of my key linchpin cards.
Yeah, I mean, being able to give Punisher the ability to roll out 14 dice in one attack and then snipe somebody for, 10? Is ridiculous. Like,
nice.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if he's down to 0 physical defense at that point. If you've got an Okoye right next to him, she can just bodyguard for him. Or, Cap, or any number of bodyguards out there. Or just position him in a place where people can't really take advantage of. He's got no defense for this turn. It's one of those cards that ultimately is going to hurt. And then if you double it up with, say, all you've got, well, who cares if you have 0 defense? You just dazed yourself to possibly daze like 2 or 3 characters. Like it's a huge swing in the game. So I think that all you've got is probably going to make the restricted list as well.
Shh, don't tell them about that card. They don't even know.
I look at Doom Prophecy and all you've got together, and I think to myself, man, Punisher's going to destroy somebody, or our boy Wolverine is going to get down and dirty with somebody. But
Yeah.
we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I probably like Wolverine on his injured side anyway, so I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, just pump him on over to the injured side. Yeah, he's got 5 HP, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're looking at adamantium slashes with 9 damage that bleed and pierce, and berserker barrages for 11 that allows him to throw people as long as he dealt damage. And if you're throwing 11 dice, I don't see how you don't deal damage.
Yeah. And so I'm really happy with what got restricted, what got banned. It should help the game and force people to look into different strategies. Though I know a lot of people on Facebook are lamenting over the change because they said Crossbones is dead now. But who played Crossbones anyway?
Seriously. Yeah. But here's my thing with any changes like this. You're always going to have people who get mad about it. No matter what you do in a game like this, people are going to find something to be frustrated about. And I think that overall, finding that medium of what is actually good for the game and what players will enjoy is always tough for a developer.
Yeah. And if you are mad about this, you must have never heard of Magic. Because Magic the Gathering is just like, oh, yeah, you bought all these cards, but now you can't use any of them.
Man, I remember back when I was playing Magic the Gathering when I was in high school. I went to a tournament one time, and I had spent all this money on cards. I'm talking like $100 on cards. And they banned out like 3 of my cards at that tournament just from the ban list. And out of nowhere, my deck didn't work. I was like, oh, I'm so glad I spent all this money to find out that I can't play this game anymore. These are fun times. We're having fun.
Or even if you just play any MOBA or Battle Royale game. Because, I mean, freaking the last 3 months of playing Call of Duty, it's like, oh, this gun is amazing. Now this gun sucks. Oh, this gun is amazing. Now this gun sucks. Oh, I spent hours grinding out this weapon. Well, now it's crap.
Yep, I remember doing that with my Bruin. Literally took one of the free weekends for that. Spent a whole bunch of time to grind it out just to find out that no,
it got nerfed.
It got nerfed the next day. Literally the next day, I was like, well, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Crazy.
like I said, ultimately for the game, I think this is a great change. I think people will adapt to it, and I think it's going to make everything better.
I agree.
So.
All right. X-Men. That's not the song.
Yeah, that's. There
we go.
I don't even know. What were you singing?
Hey, look. Okay, I'm an old man, and songs confuse me sometimes. I
don't understand what the new whippersnappers are doing on Tic Tac and Domino and whatever.
I was gonna do the Macarena, but I don't think Xavier ever did that.
I don't think Xavier danced to a lot of things.
Aw, too dark.
But it does look like Magneto is doing the Macarena on
Kinda.
Kind of does.
Okay, we've got Magneto, where he's coming out as a whopping 6 threat character.
And he is going to be worth every penny.
Maybe. I don't know. Like 6 threat is a lot to me. And I'm saying that, and I play with a 9 threat character or 10 threat character most of the time.
I look at him and I look at the ability to be generating up to 3 power a turn while generating your own terrain around the field. I look at the ability to have 6 defense on almost any attack thrown at you for 2 power, or being able to throw up to size 4 terrain, which then further feeds your affiliation from Brotherhood of Mutants. The only downside with Magneto is that both of his attacks are 6 dice. Now, it's amazing for that reverse polarity because having a basic strike attack at 6 dice is ridiculous. I just wish Shrapnel Blast was a little bit stronger.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's still an area 2 attack, so being able to AoE is always a plus.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But I look at this and I see a powerhouse of a character. It doesn't matter that he's slow. What matters is that you can't kill him.
He's just gonna want a lot of power.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like in the comic books, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys
create a world of mutants? I need all the power.
Wow. And what do you guys think of Magneto is going up against Hulk, the only other, I think, threat 6 in the game?
Oh, Thanos is also a threat 6.
Oh, I think I'm forgetting that.
I don't know. Magneto versus Hulk. That would be interesting. A fight.
Now, I give it to Magneto, to be honest with you. And the reason is simple. Hulk has such small defenses. Like, his physical defense, for some reason, is 2. A character that has invulnerable skin has only defense 2. But whatever. We're not here to complain about Hulk. But being able to strike him with 6 damage means that you're going to be dealing so much to him, and all he can do back is punch you and throw you, which is great, don't get me wrong, but you're going to be able to do force projection every turn to stop him from hurting you. So I would just do reverse polarity twice every turn and push him away from me, force him to use his power to jump to get in for double attacks, and just say, okay, I'm going to spend 2 for force projection.
Cool. And it's interesting that Magneto actually gets stronger on his wounded side. He goes from 6 health to 8.
Yeah. Oh, actually, here's the best part about force projection. Hulk, in that Hulk fight, he can't throw you anymore. Because literally the end of it says he cannot be pushed or thrown as a result of the special rules of attacks or collision.
Oh, that's nice. So, I
He
mean,
literally just magnetizes himself to the floor and says, "Not today."
and he is also a unique character that he's the only one so far that can add terrain to the game.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be so important to his play style of being able to do shrapnel blasts and stunning people across the map and having his own people destroy them is going to be amazing. And considering in the team tactics talk that they talked about today, being able to do a special attack with Magneto that literally lets him destroy up to 3 pieces of terrain to add damage to it is that, I mean, I'm just looking at this, I'm thinking he's a battery that is going to really hurt in the right circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Magneto's going to see a lot of play. I mean, all the X-Men are going to see a lot of play. So either your Brotherhood or your X-Men, you're going to be seeing a lot of these guys on the table.
Porque elo nos dos.
Yeah, and speaking of more Brotherhood, our boy Sabretooth is showing up. What do y'all think of Victor Creed?
I think it's time to party. I think that he's going to be pretty good. I think that, I mean, at 4, maybe, I don't know. You can't discount a large movement.
Yeah.
You really can't. And he has a very similar playstyle to a lot of other aggressive characters. The big thing for me, though, is that he can bleed and pierce on his claw slash attack. And pierce is one of those things that I look at that I don't think a lot of people talk about, but I think is one of those that is really, really good.
Yeah, Pierce is one of my favorite abilities. This is why I like Corvus Glaive so much.
hmm Well, and then you got Savage Predator, and it costs 4. But if you're able to get that finisher on there, you literally can get yourself a free claw slash attack. So you're adding more to that economy of what you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
free attacks are always better.
mhm. No Mercy. It sounds like it's overkill, but what I found in this game is that there's no kill like overkill.
Unless you're the one being killed.
Fair. Any way that I can throw more dice makes me a happy camper with this game.
And this is going to be silly against someone like Hulk.
Oh yeah, poor Hulk doesn't see a lot of play anyway. But for that one poor person who's playing Hulk, Victor Creed's just going to be like, no mercy. He's going to bring out like a 25 dice attack.
Well, actually, it caps at 3, but still +3.
Hey, let me dream.
But yeah, any character with a lot of health, Thanos, Magneto, Hulk, any of those who are above average, this is going to hurt adding dice just because they're wounded already.
Yeah. Well, and everything about Sabretooth feels thematic and great. Like, aggressive on him, moving him towards his target every turn, healing factor.
This is a new superpower?
Well, actually, we had it before. We just didn't give, because I think that Nebula was able to heal 1 every turn.
Yeah, I think you're right. It wasn't called healing factor, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's new, but it's not new.
It's on someone who matters.
Yeah. Poor Nebula.
You know what? I really wanted to play Nebula in my Black Order to be all thematic, but her not being able to hold points just hurts so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was my only sad thing about that character, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I think that Sabretooth, to be honest with you, I don't know if he's going to find a lot of play in actual Brotherhood.
Okay.
Just, he's expensive, he's 4, and I'm not saying he's not worth it. What I'm saying is that what I think people are going to end up doing is I think they're going to play Magneto, Toad, Mystique, depending on how much she is, and Taskmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Taskmaster or Winter Soldier to maintain that mutant, the Brotherhood from the ruins. Yeah, the affiliation. And then just add in a couple more people that can blow up terrain or throw it and use that as their battery, essentially. I think that's what we're going to see. I think Sabretooth is going to find a real nice home in some very offensive lists or in lists that need some muscle. Like Wakanda Wave is great at holding that objective, but they need a little bit of help on the hitting power. I think Sabretooth is going to find a real nice niche in lists like that just because he moves so fast.
Well, one thing I would like to point out on Sabretooth, and I hope I'm not the first one to notice this, if you look at his injured side, you get to see that he's actually wearing a costume and that's not his skin.
Yeah, actually, in the old comics, one of my favorite things was you got to go ahead and see Sabretooth in suits.
Oh.
It was always so weird to see him dressed up in like a 3-piece suit when he was talking to people about contracts and killing people. It's like, wait a minute, you're dressed up as a werewolf or something. What are you doing?
So he woke up one morning, looked in the closet, and was like, yeah, man, this is it. I'm going to wear like this fluffy cape thing and claws. I don't know, man.
Look,
spandex.
Him and Craven the Hunter went to the same tailor. Don't you judge them.
Yes.
They're both like, you know what's in today? Lions.
I need a lion cape, bro. Lion cape.
Lion cape.
Also, if any of our listeners would like to make a lion cape for me, I will proudly wear that. Proudly.
Oh, yeah, me too. I would play Sabretooth and wear that, and I would take pictures, and I will send them to you. I might even kiss them.
The person or the...
Wow.
The picture. The picture. The picture. I'm married, so I don't think my wife just wants me making out with random fans.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see when I start asking for the Patreon what you do.
Oh yeah, we'll see. I think our next one is our old boy Wolverine, right?
Yeah, we've got Logan coming in at 4th threat and a healthy 7 health. Love
Oh,
it.
looking so good.
And that 4 physical defense is very nice,
It
especially when
really
it comes to
is.
Doom Prophecy.
Well, I mean, there's a lot going on with Logan that I absolutely love. We talked about Doom Prophecy earlier. With you add that to the best at what I do. 9 dice where wilds count as double, and they give you bleed and pierce.
Yeah.
That so good.
That's gonna ruin some people.
Oh yeah, it's going to be real. It's going to make somebody have a real bad day. And then on top of that, he's hypermobile once he gets into the fray with Berserker Barrage by just being able to jump over people into the back lines to consistently be in barraging on top of people. When I said earlier that you've got Doom Prophecy and all you've got as a monster combo, I know that I said Punisher earlier, but I was really thinking about Wolverine.
I just want to be able to yell Berserker Barrage because I remember playing X-Men versus Street Fighter, and then Marvel versus Capcom, and then Marvel versus Capcom 2, and I won't talk about Marvel versus Capcom 3.
Nobody should talk about that. Or Infinite. Everything after 2 is just, it was way downhill.
Yeah.
But I look at this and I say to myself, he's going to be able to daze at least 3 characters after turn, I want to say about 2. Like, depending on how much damage he's taken, and depending on if you've got a way to give him more power, he's just going to run at your opponent and just demolish them. A well-placed best there is at what I do into a Berserker Barrage, into all you've got. Depending on how much power you generated from that Adamantium Slash, you may need to do another one, but you can go ahead and literally, we're looking at 9 and 11 damage here, and on that first one, the wilds count as 2. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and count in that he also has a healing factor 2, so he's gonna be staying on the field unless you just dogpile him. He's gonna do a lot of damage. Like when Astro and Foster are fighting me, they know how strong it is to have like a -1 damage reduction. Basically, Wolverine has a damage 2 reduction.
You know who I oddly enough see him working really well with outside of X-Men?
Who?
Because with X-Men, you kind of get a pseudo one with Storm. I see him working really well with Defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine real quick? Because like across the board, one of the best defenses you can get is physical defense, because it's just everybody's got physical attacks pretty much.
Yeah.
But could you imagine him being on Defenders and paying one to out of nowhere make his claws glow in a mystic energy?
Bro, I'm gonna attack your mind with my claws.
Yeah, I got soul claws.
Ooh, can I paint him like Freddy Krueger?
You do what you want.
Well, if anyone's looking for a Freddy Krueger inspired Wolverine, check North of the Golden Throne on eBay.
So we've got that, and you know me, I love my throws. So we got Adamantium Skeleton. So this is great because when determining whether or not he can be pushed or thrown, he actually counts as one size higher because he's a thick boy.
Mm.
So we've already got that going on, and he's immune to stun, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But when he goes on his wounded side, this is where things really, to an extent, get crazy. And I only say to an extent because he's only got 5 HP. So Wild Rage, which is his new passive, that allows him to add 1 dice to his attack rolls for each damage token, and he no longer can interact with with objectives. That's pretty massive, but the most you're going to get is 4, and that's if you're lucky. He's still got that massive healing factor though, and he's got stagger immunity as well, and that to me is the big one.
Mm-hmm. Because stagger is my favorite, personal favorite effect in the game.
Hmm. Having a character's abilities is ridiculous. What did you do? Well, you can either move or you can attack, but you can't do both
Aw.
unless you got charge.
Okay,
Now,
guys.
let me ask an important question for two of you guys.
What's
When you
that?
guys get this model, how are you guys going to build them? Mask on or mask?
Oh, mask on.
Well, as a wise man once said, "F it, mask off, F it, mask off."
What?
Yeah,
I don't know what you just said.
No, you're not
Just
doing mask
contradict
off.
yourself 3 times.
yeah. I'm going to play him with his mask off. I prefer Wolverine without his mask on.
Oh, I trusted you.
No, well, you shouldn't have. That was your first mistake.
Obviously, mask on is way better. I think in the comments below, tell us what you think. Mask on or mask off?
Boom. Let it be said.
Like,
And today
this
was the last time the Black Order showed up.
is a house divided.
Sounds like it.
So, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, I actually pre-ordered my Summers and Storm and my Wolverine and Sabretooth literally yesterday. And I'm planning on doing Scott Summers without the hood because I think the hood looks a little bit goofy. But Wolverine is definitely getting his mask on. So, I mean,
Yeah, growing up, I never really pictured him without his mask off. So it is kind of weird, but I can see the mask off being pretty cool too.
yeah. I'm going to try and find a way to paint him in his tan and yellow outfit. That's the one I really like. Was his light brown and yellow, kind of like what Sabretooth's got going on his card.
Yeah, I think I remember that paint scheme too.
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it all turns out.
Well, guys, I think it's time for us to talk about the God among men, the royalty among peasants, the mighty one, Toad himself.
Yeah, disgusting.
He comes in at the mighty, glorious Two Threat, which I actually really like Two Threat characters because since I play Black Order, I'm usually playing with heavy hitters that are 4, 5, and 6. So it's important for me to get a 2 whenever I can.
Yeah, I think that two characters are essential to the game because I find that every once in a while I'll run a comp where I'm like, okay, I can either take this 3 and be down 1, or I can take 2 2s. And I feel like for most comps, the additional bodies is important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So does that mean, Kuyo, you're going to replace Black Widow with Toad?
No way, but
What were you saying then?
if I ever play something outside of Black Order, maybe you'll see a Toad. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know. Hey, the world is not finite. Okay, we just go with the groove.
Is it because Toad's not wearing black? Is that
Yes.
the only
Okay. All black, everything. You gotta have black in your name or be a part of the Black Order. That's the only way.
Just use Sharpie on his card. Call him Black Toad.
Or be black, like I'm gonna pick up Killmonger. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Never know.
That works too.
Um,
I think that Toad's going to be one of those interesting characters that sees play initially. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to keep play though, to be honest with you.
Well, his ability to move assets is cool. Assets or civilians, like it's usually you have to pay for that with a team tactic card or be crime syndicate. So that's a big thing.
Well, and that's the thing I would just say. Just be crime syndicate.
He's got wall crawler, okay? Wall crawler.
I guess.
Astro, what do you think of him?
I don't know. So I was just about to ask Foster. You think Toad's going to be a Shuri. He's going to be a support character just for Magneto.
No, he's not going to be a Shuri.
He gives
But then again-
Incinerate. How many characters give Incinerate?
I guess. Like I said, I just don't like him, and maybe this is just my own personal bias.
Okay, because you're a racist.
What?
You are the reason Magneto hates humans. You're like, Toad, I look at him and I'm disgusted.
But I love Magneto.
Well, he doesn't love you because you're a racist. Okay?
Wow. That's wrong on so many levels.
Just because Toad looks like he should be with the Morlocks doesn't mean he's not a real person.
Oh, I didn't say that. You said that. No, I just, to be honest with you, in the comics, is not about what Toad looks like. I just never liked Toad as a character. I don't think you're supposed to like Toad as a character, to be honest with you.
Okay, see, episode 1, we're going to have Toad fans up in arms with pitchforks and fire. Okay?
All right, I'm sorry, all 4 Toad fans. My bad. Going to have that one guy be like, Toad is my spirit animal. I can't believe you would say this about him.
Bleh.
Now, like I said, I think he's going to be used for a while. But I understand moving the assets around is a pretty big deal, and I get that. I think that if he was long movement, he would definitely see long-term play.
Mm-hmm.
But or if he had someone like stealth, because I could have seen him having stealth. Just from everything else, I just don't. I'm not a big fan, to be honest with you. And I mean that's all right. I look forward to being proven wrong.
Okay. All right. Well, any parting thoughts on anything we've discussed today?
I cannot wait to see what Mystique does.
Yes.
Just from the way that her the panel to play, I feel like she very much is going to be a good character. I'm looking forward to trying out the combined arms tactics of being able to switch my team tactic on the fly based off of what I need. Because the way they described Cyclops' team tactic makes me excited to put Wolverine on a team with him for all of those shenanigans I was telling you about earlier. Being able to power him up on turn 1 to go do what he needs to do and to eliminate a couple of characters sounds pretty amazing to me if it works out the way that I think it does. Or being able to give him perma cover is also pretty amazing because that now doubles down on his healing factor. So now I'm always going to get -1 unless you ignore cover, and I'm going to be healing back to a turn. It's going to be pretty amazing.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
All right. I guess this is going to be the end of episode 1 of the Black Order. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow us wherever we put this. Currently, it's probably only going to be on YouTube, but we'll look over to other platforms if our fans want it.
I think we should make 61-minute vines. Let's go.
Hey, this may be a thing. Or
yeah.
you might find us on OnlyFans. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. It's 2020.
Okay.
It's 2020. I mean, the possibilities are endless. Or, I mean, as far as we're willing to go.
All right. Thank you for listening. And the Black Order will return shortly.